Hey everybody, welcome to the channel Tabitha Speaks Politics. I am your host Tabitha, and we are on the road to 500,000 subscribers. So if you've come across this video and are not subscribed to my channel, I welcome you. Please hit that subscribe button and help me to reach my goal. You voted for Donald Trump because he was going to lower food and gas prices. He was going to make the economy better. With all of the information that's out there, you're still trying to tell us that you voted for Donald Trump because he was going to make the economy better. Now, listen, I know you're lying. I don't know. Are you trying to convince us or are you trying to convince yourself? Because most of us know you voted for Donald Trump because you support division, racism, and hate. You voted for Donald Trump because you thought he was going to make life better for white people and that he was going to put black people back in a subservient place. That's why you voted for Donald Trump. But since you're using the excuse of the economy and he was going to lower prices, let's talk about Donald Trump's tax policy proposal and how that's going to look for the everyday American. Now, this is a graph that's semi-viral. I say it's semi-viral because I only see content creators talking about this over on TikTok. I'm not seeing creators talking about it on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook or Blue Sky. So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to expound on it, and I'm going to share it on all social media sites. And I hope you will then share it onto your social media sites. The graph that you see on the screen was put out by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. It is a graph of Donald Trump's tax proposals, and it's based on the tax policy that he put into place his first time in office. A link to this article will be put into my link tree. When you click on the link to my link tree, just scroll down to the important reads section, and the first link underneath that section will be this article. You voted because he's going to bring down prices, huh? He's going to make the economy better. Okay. I got some magic beans to sell you. Now, this graph is a graph of the proposed tax cuts and increases for everyday Americans, including the top 1% and corporations. All the way on this end, you see an increase of $790, and that will be for the poorest Americans. That's right. The poorest Americans will see a tax increase of up to $790, and that's for a pay scale of $0 to $28,600. Yeah. The next slot on the graph is $1,430. That's for a pay scale of $28,600 to $55,000. Your taxes will increase by $1,430. The middle, $1,530. That's for those of us who makes $55,000 to $94,000. Prepare to see your taxes increase by $1,500. The next stage is $1,790. That's for those of us who make $94,000 to $157,000. Okay. And for those who make $157,000 to $360,000, your taxes will only increase by $610. So the more money you make, the less you pay in taxes. And this is what you voted for. However, over here on this end, if you make $360,000 to $914,000, your taxes will decrease by $7,160. And if you make $1 million or more, your taxes will decrease by $36,000. This is what you voted for. The poorest of us will pay the most in taxes. And for those of us who are right here in the middle, we will pay the absolute most in taxes. We will carry this country on our backs. Now, this graph right here, it goes into breaking down what makes up those numbers. For instance, we'll go over the poorest of Americans, where their taxes are set to increase by $790. So what makes up that $790? Well, the Institute of Tax and Economy Policy, they break that down. 20% of that is tariffs, and then they add into that, of which Joe Biden reduced from us. And that's green credits that were a part of the Inflation Reduction Act. This is how the Inflation Reduction Act benefited us Americans. Yeah, because of that, we paid just a little bit less in taxes. But Donald Trump plans to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. Remember, Mike Johnson said that when he said they were talking about getting rid of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. He also mentioned that they are in talks to get rid of the Inflation Reduction Act. I think I'm calling that policy correctly. If I'm calling it wrong, y'all put it down in the comments. But yeah, so that's going to be added back into the taxes that we have to pay. And then corporate rate reductions, we get a small deduction from that. There's certain types of exemptions based on income. There's a small reduction in that. And then there's some 27 tax laws, some extensions that will allow us to get another reduction. But with all of the reductions, yeah, the poorest will still have an increase of $790 that they will have to pay in taxes. And then you could go from pay scale to pay scale to pay scale. Yeah, you were voting for the economy because Donald Trump, the liar, told you he was going to make the economy better. Baby, when you see the numbers in your face, I hope you are kicking your own self in the ass. Here's further breakdown in the article where they discuss how Donald Trump may be proposing to cut the corporate tax rate. And like I said, it's based on what he did back in 2016. Now, just in case, in order to sell this, you might hear them talking about how in this new tax plan of Donald Trump's, they won't be taxing tips, overtime, or Social Security benefits. If you believe that, I got some magic beans to sell you. Number one, they're trying to get rid of Social Security. They're already talking about that, and Donald Trump hasn't even stepped foot into the Oval Office. And two, if you paid attention to what he was doing during his first presidency, then you will know he was trying to fix it so that the tips didn't belong to the servers, but to the corporations. He didn't succeed the first time. He just might this time. Elections have consequences.